All right, shalom, shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kakwadash. Double honors goes into the apostles and elders from Great Millstone that have taught me this truth. Much love and peace and blessings goes to the hopeful elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai. So, brothers, this is just going to be a quick, impromptu kind of walk and talk. I got some space to speak and air out a little bit of thoughts, but basically the what this is about is a call for you brothers out there that are learning, even you few sisters, but mainly brothers, you know, that are able to teach and edify. You get a lot of pointers from watching this new movie, or it's like a series slash movie. It's 4 parts. Each of them are about, I want to say, like an hour to an hour and a half long, and it's called Exterminate All Brutes. And in this documentary movie, it basically details the history of colonialism. You know, it's documented by, I believe this dude's an Israelite, but he's either from Uganda, because he explained it in the movie, he's either from Uganda or Congo, and his family had to immigrate to Haiti while he was a little kid. And this guy, he basically put out the history of colonialism, like the history of how Esau's doctrine of discovery and everything that basically happened to the point of the Renaissance, to the point of where we're at now, how Esau, which is the so-called white man, which they call themselves Caucasians, white, but they're really the Edomites, how these people came out of Europe and colonialized everything, conquered everything across the world. And this was all prophesied. Because when you look at it from a biblical understanding, read Revelation 6 and 4. I seen a red horse and behold the red rider, and it was given unto him a sword that they should kill one another upon the earth. That's describing Esau. That's describing the so-called white man. You know, because this guy is just giving you the history. But when you look at it from the biblical point of view, it connects all the dots. And it's very informative, very detailed, gives you the full wrap around how this devil used the, based upon Christopher Columbus coming over here and how they viewed lesser peoples as, quote unquote, the non-white peoples as being brutes and savages. And that based upon that, they were able to use horrific means of conquering these people, man. And the most brutalized people of all the nations was who? And it shows you that in this film was the native Indians of North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean islands, and the so-called Negroes from West Africa and, West Central Africa, because a lot of our people actually came from the Congo and, that area, which is kind of like central. It's like in between West Africa and South Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it just shows you the Lord is exposing these devils. And that's why you have documentaries like this coming out, is because the man of sin is being revealed. Esau is that man of sin, And on this third part, I'll just get a little, because when you brothers check it out, man, you're going to be very intrigued and informed on this shit. But on the third part, it basically gives you the history of the gun, right? How this devil, he was, because when you look at it, the Chinese actually invented gunpowder for fireworks, and they invented the first small cannons, but they weren't that effective. But what Esau did, he built on this technology to be able to create modern weapons. So it led from, muskets to rifles, from cannons to machine guns, that are able to just clear whole armies of people who were fighting against them with fucking spears and outdated rifles. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a point, like in the early period of the Americas, when, before, this was somewhat before Andrew Jackson, around that time, the so-called Native American Indians, which are Gadites, and Seminole Indians, which are the Reubenites, they were able to keep up. The Reubenites and Gadites used rifles too. And they were able to keep up and use guerrilla warfare and tactics to, win certain victories. But when as Esau updated his technology, he got Winchester rifle, certain cannons. Gad couldn't do anything against that. Because ancient warfare has always been, I got my weapon, you got yours, and we'll see who wins. We'll use our toughness and manliness to see who's going to get the victory. But this devil, and that was his blessing. You read the book of Genesis 27, the Lord blessed Esau with the sword. And basically, what you could call that documentary is Revelation 6 and 4, the series. It show you how, because Revelation 6 and 4 specifically tells you how he went throughout the world to conquer. So this devil, you had the East India British Trading Company, which had its hands in controlling India, had its hands in controlling China. All right, you had certain American forces and Portuguese that took over Japan and Tokyo, right? It showed you that in the movie The Last Samurai. You had the Spanish take over the Philippines. You had all types of different so-called European nations, which were Edomites, take over the continent of Ham, which is they call them Africans, right? To split up that whole territory. And of course, they came over here on the Western Hemisphere and did what they did to the natives, which were the Israelites. Of course, they fought wars amongst themselves. In Europe, you had the couple world wars that happened. You had the Napoleonic Wars. So that's Esau. That's the man that was blessed in the scriptures to be able to have this warfare technology to make this play out in history. That's why these devils are prospering. They got so much damn money. They living high off the hog. They got, cars galore, clothes, houses. It's because what their forefathers did. And they had that gun, and they used that gun, which in the scriptures equates it to being a sword. They used that to their benefit. Specifically, I believe there was this battle, and it shows you that in this series where Winston Churchill took a part of when he was a young man, because he had a military background. But it was somewhere out there in the Middle East to where that was Esau. He was solidified in his weapon in that specific battle during that time period. I forget exactly what it's called. Brothers can do their research on it, but it was then where they felt that superiority with the weapons. Because like I said, you had different nations that had, muskets and certain small arms they was able to keep up until Esau came with them rifles, with certain those, like I mentioned, Winchester. You had other models of rifles. You had, machine guns. And then it was a clear sweep on all nations. So that show you how the scriptures play out as well. How all these nations now, they got the same armaments. You got the Elamites in Iran, which have tanks and rifles and a standing military. They got nuclear missiles and shit. So we're in that time where these other nations are being roused up, and they're going to take this devil out. Because like Yahweh Shai said, those that take up the sword shall die thereby. And that's how this devil he's been on nothing but a campaign of terror since the point of the Renaissance period, So, Lord, you brothers, check out this documentary, man. It's on HBO Max. It's called Exterminate All Brutes. And that's the mindset of Esau Edom. He thinks that everyone else is inferior to him, so he calls you a brute, which shows you his pride. All right, so all praise goes to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Shalom.